psychic reminder. Okay, we are now live. Excellent. Okay, there's a couple things I want to talk about tonight, and probably there's some things that you guys want to talk about. The first thing is I wanted to talk a little bit about the homework. Whoa, didn't want that to happen. Okay. So let me share a page with you if I can find the page. Here it is. All right. Share my screen. We'll go here. Can you see the spreadsheet there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the federal budget page. Okay. And people that talk to me seem to have a couple of problems. One was figuring out what the total of the budget was. And the answer to that question is this column right here, total on budget and off budget. It's total outlays, total spending. Okay, so when you calculate your percentages, you should be dividing the spending categories into this total, which, where is this? Yeah, I think for 2019, it's estimated to be about $4.5 trillion. That's a lot of money there. Okay, most of the questions were pretty straightforward. You just had to find the line item and divide it into the total. There were a few interesting ones because you had to make judgments about what to include. As long as you made a reasonable case for what you were doing, then that's okay with me. For example, if you look at any one of these line items, well, let's just start with national defense because it's the first one there. Where did that number come from? Okay. The answer is some human being had to decide what counts as national defense directly, right? So in the same way that that person had to make a judgment, I'm asking you guys to make your own judgments about these things. The most important part of this exercise was for you to get a sense of where the budget dollars go. And so hopefully you did coordinate with the rest of your group. Otherwise that's a problem, I guess. Okay, so let's just do national defense because that's kind of the first one on the list. The question here is what should count as part of national defense? Obviously, well, I think it's obvious. This line item, national defense, is where I started. And then I added in international affairs, which is the next line, because it seems to me that the purpose of foreign aid and international relations and all of that stuff, that really is sort of a form of national defense. Also, probably some of the general science, space, and technology line item belongs in national defense, but we don't really know how much that would be, and so I left that out for my purposes. And then the last item, and it's not insignificant, is veterans benefits and services. Those are just deferred costs of national defense. So that's another $200 million right there. When I added the three categories up of national defense, international affairs, and veterans benefits, I came up with $939 trillion, nearly $1 trillion for national defense. And then I divided it into the total, which is up here, 4.5, and it worked out to be just over 20% of our total budget is spent on national defense. Many of you asked me, not necessarily you guys here tonight, but many students asked me which year they should use. And the answer is it doesn't matter because the numbers stay pretty much the same from year to year. You would have to probably look at a 10-year period to see any significant variation. So you literally could do, pick any year you wanted to, just be consistent at all the things that you were calculating. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about that? Morgan doesn't have any questions because she's busy eating. Okay. Okay. So let's go on to the next thing that I want to talk about. Let me stop the sharing for a moment. And probably you guys are really interested in the exam. I know I am. This exam actually covers more ground than the first exam did. So let me show you the course outline so I can identify all the pieces that we're going to be doing. All right. Oh, isn't that interesting? I didn't know I could do that. It's everything since the last exam, which means topic 4, the role of money in the financial system. Remember, we left that off. And then first look at the macroeconomy. Remember that all of my notes on that topic are here in the study plan in Canvas, so you can read everything. How does one tell the state of the economy? That's these 2 macroeconomics measures modules. Then the role of government in the market economy. And then finally, what determines the level of economic activity? That's module 10. Now, there's a couple things. One is module 10 is really, really important, but we've just really sort of scratched the surface. We're going to be discussing the income expenditure model and using it for the rest of the semester. So I'm not going to go too far into that. In particular, the very last section in that module is on the government expenditure multiplier, and I'm not going to cover that on this exam, okay? So everything else in that module is basically setting up the model and finding the equilibrium. That's enough for you guys to worry about this time around. Okay, so does anybody have questions about what we're going to cover on the exam?
What module were you just talking about?
Module 10, the income expenditure model. Well, it says module 10. Let me just check that for a second. Study plan. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, it's module 8 here. Sorry. It's the income expenditure model. Okay, that's a good question. Anything else about the topics that are going to be on the exam?
I got a question. It's not really about that, but just to clarify, all of the quizzes need to be done before that, right?
Correct. On Monday, I will close those quizzes down so that you need to, if as far as credit goes for them, you need to do them before Monday. Other questions about the content? Okay, then I have something to share with you that I think you're going to like. The income expenditure model is very analytic. It takes a while to get. Once you get it, it's easy, but it does take a while to put things together. So what I did is I added something that I think you're going to like. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, okay. Can you see the Canvas page here? All right. Oh, that's not the right Canvas page. Let me go over here. Not that one. Sorry about that. That's what I lost. Okay, let's go here. Modules. I'm going to be upset if this doesn't show up right. All right, we'll do, I know it's on this one, so we'll go here. Okay. I added right here video lectures on the income expenditure model. Okay. This is going to sound, well, let me just show you instead of, what this is all the lectures videotaped on this content that you need to learn. Okay, I'm the one doing the lectures. It was a few years ago, and they're cut up into little chunks. I don't think any of the bits are longer than 10 minutes, so you can watch them at your convenience between now and Monday. I think you'll find this useful. And what I will do for the rest of the semester is add videos of me explaining things as I think they'll be useful for you. Okay. Any questions about that? Becca, I hope you're not laughing at me.
No, my roommate just walked in.
That's fine. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the exam. The exam is going to be very similar in format to the first exam. It's 30 multiple choice questions. It should take you no more than an hour. It will be open from midnight Sunday until midnight Monday. You can take it anytime during that period. Once you start, you'll have an hour, actually a little more than that, in order to finish it. I've already told you what it's going to cover. The questions are, there are sort of show that you understand the definition of some of various concepts. There are questions show that you know how to use various concepts. And there are a few questions about how to use the income expenditure model. Okay. And that's where these videos will come in handy. Okay. So that's, I think, what I wanted to tell you. What questions do you guys have about the content, the exam, anything? Well, this is great. I'm gonna get to cooking pretty quick here at this rate. Courtney, is that you?
Hi.
You showed up.
No.
Anybody have questions?
So is all like the videos that you pulled up, that pertains to the part of like this module that you need to know?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I believe it is about 2 or maybe 3 50-minute lectures that I've cut into pieces for you. So even though it's a lot, it is doable over the next 4 days.
Is everything that's on those going to be on the exam? Because I know you said a portion of it was going to be on the exam. So do we need to look
Say that again, Jeremiah?
Do we need to look at all of them? Because I know you said a portion of that module wasn't going to be on the exam.
Right. But I left that video off.
Gotcha.
Okay. So this really goes into detail, and it just covers the stuff that you need to know for the exam. Oh, there's one other thing that's really important that I should have mentioned earlier. The best way that I can think of to study for this is to look at the learning outcomes. Every one of these modules has a tips and learning outcomes page. So if you click on that one, are we still sharing, by the way? Yeah, I think we are. Okay, here's what you need to know. Explain the following concepts in your own words and understand how each concept is measured. GDP, price index, inflation, unemployment, misery index, right? Explain the difference between a real and a nominal variable in your own words and why is it important. And make sure you know how to take a nominal measurement like nominal GDP and convert it into a real measurement like real GDP. Okay, so each of the modules has a set of learning outcomes like this. If you know the learning outcomes, you know all you need to know. Other questions? I'm not going to make you stay. I know Morgan is really excited about getting back to work.
Not today.
All right, well then I guess we'll call it a night. If you do have questions between now and the exam, feel free to shoot me an email. We can always talk by phone or something, or have a little hangout if you need some help working through something. So I will see you soon then. Bye now.
Bye.